Good morning and welcome to a fresh week on Jasiri and the 190th. Kimosa? And the 190th. Help me.
90th.
190th day of the year. Yes. I'm not
190th day of the year.
You see how it's
190th day of the year.
90th.
But why are you even counting though?
Why are you counting those?
Because can you imagine how fast the first half of the year has gone?
Very fast.
Guys, we're in July.
July already.
Actually.
The 7th
I don't understand what's happening. In some years, last year seemed like it was so slow. This year we have blinked and we have entered July.
I mean, we just started Jasiri. Wow.
How you know? We need to be planning for our 6-month anniversary. Anyway, I know this year has been tough for many of us in more ways than one. But we're here to brighten up your Monday and help you shake off those blues. Now let's get the week started with a bang. Now today on Catch Up Monday, we've got some interesting stories lined up for you. But first, ladies, how was your weekend?
The Queen.
It was restful.
Because she's looking fine.
Yeah.
Blessings is just adding to her bride price. The plenty of us that will collect from that bride
I know
price.
the economy is not smiling, so it has to.
You're gonna have to
smile for it.
Latin yam because
But my weekend was restful. I jetted. I'm sorry, I aeroplaned out. I didn't jet out.
I thought you said you were going in our neighborhood backyard. That's what you said on Friday.
And it's plain like this now. That's what I wouldn't say. I jetted out, but they should not think it's private jet. So I just planed out.
and skipped, popped in and popped out.
But it was restful though.
How I wish. Mine wasn't. I was going from one event to the other. You know, it's not like paying weekend, but the events that are necessary to attend.
Yeah.
And it was more than one. So you go from this, and it was like that for the entire weekend. Baby dedication on Sunday. From there, I went to Wiz son's birthday. From there, I went to one awards in the night. So Saturday too, like 3 events like that.
But do you feel as tired when you're actually attending paid events? Because I get an unexplainable amount of strength when it's paid.
Of course.
Why won't you get a strength?
I'm just like, I'm busy, right, guys? Won't you rest? No way, I'm not resting. But if it's not paid, I'm just like.
But do you not feel sometimes like maybe 2 days to the event, you'll be like, wait, why did I take these?
Oh my, no, Tolu.
I could have really just been in my house. Sometimes I'm just like,
I only feel like that.
I'm okay with events. It's set. When you now have, like, I have set today. You know those said that you're just doing it for Jesus' sake.
So I only feel that way when the event has been paid for and I spent the money.
I hate that thing.
But it feels like you're doing it for free.
Me. I have events in August, they paid me.
And you spent the money, I'm sure.
But Tolu, how was yours?
It was good. Auntie here made sure I was out of my house at 7:30 again.
I have a star in Tolu's house, and she's one of my OAPs, so she has to be at work.
It was so. On Saturdays, I'm not sleeping again. I'm not sleeping in. Then I came back, brought her back, tried to sleep a little bit, edited the script, was in the office for a pilot, and then had to fix my key. My key is a push to start. The remote was not connecting. Wow. Guys, there are things you should know if you have all these sort of electronic cars. There's some hidden things. I can't tell you where my key was, where the redundancy, let me use that word, for getting the car to start, where the remote is not, it was in my armrest. There's a place where you raise your armrest and you plug your remote key and the car will start. You know that movie, I think it was 2000, where the guy said, engine, start. I was like,
wow. Well, they've always said that women know nothing about cars.
Wait, my husband did not know it was there either. So sorry.
But I drove a nice Mitsubishi. I did a skit in it. It was Tieroba, Tolu. There are cars.
And then there are cars.
No. There are cars and there's motor.
No. There are even cars.
There's motor.
And there are cars.
And then there's cars.
Motor is on another genre. More. Good life is for the good.
It's good. But thankfully, Sunday, I did not step foot outside. I stayed.
You were cooking coconut.
I was in the same pajama from morning until I took my bath. Today was like, Mommy, won't you take your bath? I'm like, you don't understand. Please allow me to breathe.
Did you hear all the funny gist I heard the other weekend?
What did you hear on the
I
weekend?
don't even want to talk about it. All this celeb stuff that they said everybody's out playing.
Playing what?
I'll tell you after the break.
Or during the break?
Yeah.
Okay, take us to the next stage.
Okay, talking about celebrities, right? It looks like Davido and Sharon's recent weddings have got everyone talking about marriage.
Sharon?
Even Burna Boy, Sharon.
Not together, separate.
Separately.
My God.
You separate
Davido's wedding
them.
and Sharon's wedding. Davido and Choma Adeleke and Sharon and Ugo Nwoke.
Yeah.
You get it now? Okay. So even Burna Boy got caught up in a Twitter debate when a fan asked him to follow
Not
him.
asked.
Advised.
They did not ask him.
Okay, a fan advised him.
Yes.
No, send up. To follow in Davido's footsteps and settle down. But Burna Boy had other thoughts. He shared his own conditions for getting married, and it sparked an interesting conversation. And we'll give you the thread, so take a look.
Odogu too wise, who know here go feel.
Them go feel.
So wait, was that shade to David
It
O?
sounds like
It felt like shade to David O, but no wahala. Then somebody replies, and Brother Boy, you should start planning for your future by getting married and starting a family. OBO has already set an example. You're over 33 now, and you need to understand that you're not getting any younger.
Who even gives people the impetus to
don't know.
advise people?
And then Brother Boy says, now waiting we they pray for be that bros.
Hey, now wow.
Okay, but between me and you, shade now better example the guy used. This is shade.
Hey.
Anybody that denies that this is shade.
This one, sir.
Then what's next?
Okay, between.
What next? Then somebody else, a different person, now says, Adekunle Gold now, better example. We need another reply. Baba, make I just dare as I dare, I beg. You know, see, waiting him, they face like this. Kilotun saw, he now said what again?
What did he say again? Oh my God, this is so funny.
Like,
First
first of all, you even had time. Okay,
you can't even answer a question like a reasonable person. LOL, just big head and plenty beard.
How? What's the meaning of
What
that?
is that? All these children, they have no chill.
Did he respond?
I don't think did he respond after that?
Oh, I'm sure he will, because it's petty like that.
Okay, so that's the end of it. But I think he should have taken this person on. What's the meaning of that? What do you mean reasonable?
Well, what did you want him to say?
First of all, right, just when you think that these celebrities are, classy, they don't banter things,
I don't think many celebrities are classy. That might be you.
Like,
But some people just bring out the crass in you.
And you have to give them back in a way they
back the way they would understand.
No. Look, so I don't agree.
The
I don't agree that he's giving it back to the fans or the
he's shading David
Twitter
O.
warriors. He's answering because he wants to shade someone. And I've realized that about not just Burna Boy, now lots of celebrities. You would notice that people would come for whiskey, say unreasonable things on his
and then
name.
somehow
Then someone would not ask a question that, I can hop on this to you, respond to a brother of mine.
That is intelligent, because we celebs thrive on publicity. So if you want to be spoken about, talked about, you have to always tread on that, middle ground.
Who no go here, go feel.
Exactly.
Go feel it.
Hey, they go get it down. Hey.
Anyway,
What did Adekunle do to him, though?
No, Adekunle did. He didn't
He
shade
said he's
Adekunle.
a better example.
And it seems if you look at marriage and quiet.
No. So someone said Adekunle Gold is a better example.
Now,
and he said,
he
you
now
don't see
puts-
waiting in the face.
No. I think he's replying to
He's
the person
saying that
mentioning
Adekunle
David
Gold is
O.
a better example.
Better.
So Adekunle is a better example.
Adekunle,
Anyway, before we make this
you done
AJ baby.
AJ baby. We'll go on a short break, but don't go anywhere, because Catch Up Monday is still coming up, and Jasiri is still the place to be. Stay tuned.
Right, welcome back. We're streaming live on social media, and we are at News Central TV. Just use the hashtag Jasiri to be part of the conversation, and so that we can know that you're watching. Now, in our first story, we turn our attention to Kenya, where President William Ruto made history by engaging in a live discussion on X, formerly Twitter Spaces, just 10 days after deadly anti-government protest. Now, despite a rocky start to the X space, the conversation was raw and direct, with participants challenging the president on his government's record and conduct.
Wow.
Thank you, my friend Martin. I understand your anger, and you are perfectly in order to be angry, because the situation where you're in, out of university, without a job, is something that I have lived through myself. In fact, when I finished university, I did not get a job until I was elected as a member of parliament. But that's not for another day. But let me tell Martin that next week for example, as part of our housing program, just hold on. As part of our housing program, we will be hiring 3,600 professionals like yourself. I want to challenge you, Martin. There will be an advertisement next week for engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, and many in the construction field, because we are looking for people who are going to work with our professional firms in our housing program.
All right, so that was just excerpt from the spaces, and some of the details to know is that with a population of over 56 million people, Ruto's X Spaces peaked at 163,000 participants. Now, this unprecedented engagement shows a willingness to listen and respond to citizens' concerns, setting a strong precedent for future leaders and, of course, the existing ones in other countries. It's a turning point in Kenya's civic engagement, amplifying public discourse and demanding accountability. I'm quite impressed. I'm not even going to lie.
I cannot lie.
Especially seeing how this is coming after the protest. I don't even know if the protest is over.
So young Kenyans have said they're staying on the streets because there obviously is an unfortunate lack of trust in the government. So not at the massive scale we saw about 2 weeks ago, but they still are protesting on the streets because they want to see the things promised put into action. And for the first time, the president actually even apologized for the police brutality that was witnessed during the recent protests and even abductions of alleged organizers. And it's interesting to know that young Kenyans actually use X to organize the protests. So very similar to what was going on during NSARS in Nigeria.
But do you know that for the first time, I want to believe that he has very intelligent people in his cabinet, or, advising him, because he's using the same medium that these youths are used to, that this is where he can actually get word in real time. How many African leaders can actually be willing to, because this is a free space. That means anybody can say anything.
They called him a liar to his face.
That's what I'm saying.
And he was responding.
No, Tolu. This is
it's
like,
actually applaudable.
He has set a record. I'm just wondering that, is it possible for any of our leaders to agree to do this? Even when they do, they will still not be forthright, in answering questions.
If they would even speak for themselves. If
that's the
someone
point
like Ajuri Ngelale would not be in there.
So that's the point I want to make. Lola asked an interesting question as to whether or not our leaders would be even willing to have this kind of spaces. And let me tell you, I think some leaders are willing to engage differently and on different levels. I think it's the people that surround them oftentimes, that sort of cuddle them, want to keep them inert from what's going on. We were told that former President Muhammadu Buhari used to like to read cartoon strips, and they would release some of these pictures every once in a while, and he's really keeping up to speed. I think it's sometimes the people around them that keep them in this really, really
like a cocoon.
Dangerous cocoon and
they're
echo
trying
chamber.
To protect them from what? You can't protect the president or the leader of a movement, of a people, from his people. It's like the father of the nation. And do you know this thing he has done? The youth will feel like he listened.
Yeah.
He heard us.
He didn't have a choice, Lolo. They were prepared and ready to, let me put it in air quotes, burn Kenya down. They were not giving up.
Botolu, there are so many presidents that even if they were willing to burn Kenya down,
they will send military to the streets.
Fire. Yeah,
that's the thing.
They would rather kill their own than listen.
Yeah.
But this is a peace approach. And no matter, even if you are evil, the man has come down to even listen and talk with them. Even their leaders will pull them back a little and say, okay, guys, let's see what can come out of these.
And I think that as the #1 citizen of a country, if there is an insistence from your own part, I think that there's a limit to how they can keep you in that cocoon, to be honest. Like, if you insist that this is what you want to do, the only thing they can do is maybe advise you against it or advise you on the best ways to go about it. They cannot completely stop you from doing what you want. So I'm not going to excuse, people not standing up to responsibilities because of the people that surround them.
I think it's also interesting to note in all of this that at the end of the day, he knows who brought him into power. It was young Kenyans that really galvanized themselves to come together and to push and make sure that William Ruto was elected. And I think his memory is starting to come back. And he's remembering that power belongs to the people.
Yeah.
But let's just give you some more details, because even though he was called a liar, they called the president a liar to his face, and he was also accused of lacking empathy. But he also responded. Now, this was supposed to be a 3-hour live Twitter session.
3 hours?
Because of some technical issues on the president's side, let's choose to believe that it was just around an hour or so thereabouts. But at the end of the day, he says that a lot of the things in the Finance Bill 2024 were actually misunderstood. If they were misunderstood, doesn't that mean then that the government did not do a good job in translating them? Kenya has a huge debt burden. We can't even get away from that, because let's talk about the fact they have a staggering $82 billion debt.
Is that more than ours?
Well, please, right now we're in East Africa.
Yes, let's just
leave
focus.
me in East Africa
Let's
for now.
focus on, yes.
Let's focus on East Africa right now.
I just like to know his
Please wait. That he announced that he would not sign the bill. And one of the reasons that young Kenyans also stayed on the streets was because it had been pressed in Parliament. If the president doesn't do anything within 21 days, it can still become law. So they're very afraid of that. But the president has said that he has withdrawn it. And he has also announced austerity. I think that's the thing we really need to pick up on this thing. So he's talking about the fact that if there are anybody in his government that's found to be corrupt will face jail. There are cuts that are going to happen all across government, all branches of government, including the executive, judiciary, and county governments. And he emphasized the need to live within the country's means, respecting the clear image from the people of Kenya. So right now,
budget of First Lady scrap.
Office of First Lady scrap, budget scrap for that. I think there was a pay cut that was meant to go in effect on July the 1st. That has been scrapped as well. How are you getting a pay rise when you already make more than the average Kenyan?
Exactly.
And meanwhile, you still want to tax them? Are we okay?
This
That's what's happening across
unified. Well, this is what we call unified movement.
Yeah.
If all our purposes are together, we can't actually call this leadership to order. You know, it's just, we can take a cue from so many things that we see around. Look at what is happening. And you know that they said, it should be noted that never before has a president exposed himself to this and responded to members of the public in real time.
Not through his
speaker aides or his speakers or PR people.
Yes.
They said former President Uhuru Kenyatta deactivated his own account on X following incessant comments from what was known as Kenya's online army. You know, when you act as if you are afraid
on Twitter.
Online army at that time, you know, just imagine that you are afraid of your own people on a space that is not physical.
But man, I'm really challenged by Kenyans, because this is not the first time. I mean, hearing all these Kenyans
activism rising up within you. Wow.
Don't put me in
Become
trouble.
the beacon of light.
You almost said
No. Don't put me in trouble. But you
Become
know,
the beacon of
together
hope.
we can do this. Don't pick on only me.
Uhuru, Ubuntu.
Really,
Ubuntu is the spirit of
Ubuntu.
togetherness.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's South Africa, right?
But they also use it in Kenya too. Kenya, Rwanda, that area too.
But really, it's really applaudable. You see youth, people are smoking tear gas.
No, we've debunked that. You cannot smoke tear gas.
well,
How can you smoke tear
but
gas?
like,
the
you
chemicals
want
inside
to
tear
die?
gas. No.
But like, you see people, there's this lady, I think 25-year-old, stood up to is it military or, like the pictures are
security
speaking.
person, yeah.
Yes, and then she's like, they're not backing down and things. Like, they're not following the let's say,
norm.
millennial. The Gen Zs are taking charge on the street. It's really challenging. I don't know if we can do that.
But the thing is, it gets to a point that...
Let's hear from a young Kenyan. An unabashed Marvin Maponga, he's an unemployed university graduate, told the president, in your cabinet, we have so many incompetent cabinet secretaries. He's also cut down his cabinet as well. Let's hear what he had to say.
Mabonga. I come from Kimilili constituency in Bungoma County. So, Mr. President, before you go, I want to let you know that in your cabinet, currently we are having so many incompetent cabinet secretaries. For instance, let me give you an example of your friend, Kipchumba Murkomen. Kipchumba Murkomen did law. He has never been in any law firm in this country. He has never won any case. But currently, he's heading the Ministry for Road and Transport. My question is, between where is the conjunction between the Ministry of Transport and a lawyer? And now here, Mr. President, you are just taking us through the corners. You are not even going straight to the point.
Do you know another thing I appreciate is decorum. Look,
No,
see the way.
Some of them cost him.
Yes, even if, but this one I heard,
In
he
orderly
was
manner.
respectful. You know, that
In
is
all
something-
due respect, or with
in all due respect, you are a
that is
liar,
not-
sir. But
that was
Tolu,
sad, the man.
it's still decorum.
Yeah,
I
for
want
the most
to,
part, yeah.
honestly, I want to always implore people that when you engage some of this leadership, I know we are angry, we are hot, but do you know if we go about it in an uncouth manner, he's like, you're not really going to get your point
You know,
across.
I thought about that, right? Sometimes Nigerians in conversation...
Shut up! They can even say that. Shut up! We don't want to hear your rubbish. You be hotel. You be this.
And
no.
that's where we lose the
Yeah,
Script.
they have a counter-intuitive approach when it comes to, if you had called Nigerians now, some of them
Oh,
would not
God.
even, they would not have an intelligible conversation. They won't say what they want. They just be like, God punish you.
God punish you.
My
No,
father
better
and
for your
mother,
papa.
by this one.
Say
and-
respectfully, sir, I would like to say that
God is
we
going to reign.
consider, you know,
Because you
what
have
you
to
have done
challenge-
and affront on Nigerians. We feel pain and we are not even happy at all. Instead of saying, you be bagger, you be like,
Come meet me for streets now.
come
One
meet
on
us.
one.
Now, Twitter, you there? Meet us on street to go beat you.
So let
Say,
me add
so,
a
why
little
are
bit
we here?
more about what President William Ruto has conceded to. He says now there's going to be the dissolution of 47 state corporations with overlapping functions. Does not that remind you of the report that has been languishing for how many years in Nigeria? But I said we're facing East Africa. Suspending the purchase of new vehicles for state officials for 6 months, suspending all non-essential travel for state officials, reducing government advisors by 50%. So all this, meaning SSA, SA, a lot of them are going. Scrapping the budget for First Lady and spouses of Deputy President and the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Why do
spouses
the Vice President's
Spouses.
enforcing the retirement of public servants at the age of 60. This is also interesting in regards to what he has said. Anybody near that or reaching the age of retirement, they're going to pay them off and everything, which in some ways, one, is supposed to create space for taking in new employment, younger Kenyans, and also they need to look at some of these positions to see what might need to be collapsed. Technology is around. Do you think this is going to inspire other African youth? And I ask that with all reference and all thinking back to the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring spread. There's a word for it, immolation, I believe is the word, where you set yourself on fire because of a cause. And that happened, was it Morocco or Algeria? And it spread from one of the Arab-affiliated countries in North Africa, and it spread. And it too toppled government. And even so, surprisingly enough, when Arab Spring happened, a lot of people were saying, is there going to be an African Spring? There never was. We still had small protests and everything.
So much melanin.
You know, but do we think this Kenyan protest that has now gotten a president to concede so much will have a sliver where it inspires and it threads through other African countries?
If it doesn't, then it will be disappointing. Because everything that we're looking at, we're supposed to be taking pros and cons from it. As all the young people want to be vocal, there is a way and manner we can organize ourselves and do the right thing, the right way. At least let our words get in. Not our screams, not our cursing, but our words. Let it be clearly stated. Honestly, I would be very impressed if this, ricochets across Africa and we can see some changes here and there.
It's a two-way thing. There's a willingness of, people to stand up and fight for a cause, but there's the willingness of the government to also listen. You said something that it cannot apply to everywhere because some people would fight in fire for
in
fire.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
There's context in Nigeria that would affect something like this.
Well, possibly,
But the
I
context
don't
also
know.
too right now is that people are hungry.
Very hungry.
So eventually you're going to
Hungry
get to a
people,
point.
angry people.
When I was coming, I was listening to talk radio this morning. The guy, he was talking about how the poverty and everything, the connection to increase in poverty to an increase in insecurity. It's not only democracy that starts with breakfast. It's the security of your country that starts with people being able to do legitimate work, feed their families, make ends meet for their families, and being able to move forward. And there's we never know. There might have been a spark from Kenya that flew across East Africa, past Central Africa, and landed somewhere in Nigeria. Because even when NSAR started, nobody knew how much of a conflagration it was going to be. And we've been sitting on this time bomb for
And nobody
a very
actually
long
saw
time.
it coming.
Coming.
So
Yeah.
I believe that.
Anyway, we'll be going on a
Lolo
quick
can
break.
start something.
I see the fire of activism rising in you.
Well, We'll discuss that off camera. We'll be going on a short ad break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, of course, you know the program is Just Siri, and we're streaming live on all our social media platforms. At News Central TV is where you find us. Anyway, we've got quite a story brewing from Ghana that's hot off the stove. Imagine claiming a world record for the longest cooking marathon, only to end up in a hot pot of soup. Did you see what I did there? Anyway, hot pot of soup. Chef Ebenezer Smith made headlines with a whopping 802 hours and 25 minutes of non-stop cooking. That's over 1 month of cooking. During his press briefing, the chef said, "Today is the day that I will forever remember. I am incredibly humbled and honored to stand before you today as the Guinness World Record holder. But, unfortunately, Guinness World Record never got his application, confirming the invalidity of his certificate. The PR executive of Guinness World Records, Alina Poliaskaya, said, "No, this is not true at all. He does not hold the Guinness World Record title, and that is not our certificate." In a new video shared online, Chef Smith is seen on his knees with 2 women by his side, tearfully apologizing for forging a Guinness World Record for marathon cooking. It was a record-breaking disappointment, honestly, especially after local celebrities rallied behind him. Over the weekend, he was arrested by the Ghanaian authorities. No, I'm a bit miffed. What does this mean? They rallied behind him for claiming something publicly.
No, they rallied behind him in the course of
while he was doing it.
No, while he was doing the cooking.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when he says, "Oh, he has received a certificate," everybody's going to be happy.
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't blame the celebrity.
I thought that when he was, because the story came that he was tearfully on his knees, that the Ghanaian celebs rallied around him. I was I don't.
This guy,
how can somebody do such a thing?
Had sponsors. Companies sponsored him. So I saw an interview with him and Sewa Amir, and she was asking him, like, by the way, I think they need to put an eye on him because that guy is looking like he'll self-destruct any minute from now.
I don't understand. What would even make you do something like that publicly?
Guinness World Records is
Guinness
an internationally recognized
that is,
brand. You don't think it's going to get to them that you are claiming to have won. See, when people try to undermine what Hilda Bassi did, I always look at them
like,
this is what you get. She talked about the fact that she was in preparation for her stuff for 1 year. She went to them, she asked them what needed to be done. You actually need to notify them of the plan when you're looking at doing it, how you want to do it. They'll tell you what you need to make it official. If they can't follow on social media or online, something like that, sometimes they can send somebody to witness. Not in all cases. There was a lot of planning.
But this is a cooker thing. And do you know that the world focus has been on Guinness World Record? Yeah. So that means you can hardly do anything under the radar.
Oh, by the way, Guinness World Record has, what's the word now? They've taken down the cooking category.
What is this?
So
yeah, because it's now too much. Yes, there's a lot of cookathon that is not, they are not even cooking. And how did people not, I'm sorry, but even when I saw it, right, on blogs, I'm like, this is not possible. It's not possible, right? Because that would, do you know how much preparation, how much money would go into, even if you have the strength, which again is physically, there's a question mark for suspect. Yeah, do you even if you have the strength, do you know how much money you have to cook for a month non-stop? How is it that
2 hours?
Yes, the celebrities were rallying around him, but when did he start? When was he stopping? What was the? I don't understand. Like,
I just know this is one of the most
because I feel like if he had been going
perpetrated,
if he had been going for that long, people would have heard about it even before he broke it.
I never heard anything about this.
I only heard that he broke it.
Broke what?
I'm like, how did you break?
So where's the 802 hours? So what Guinness World Records is saying is that they never even received an application. You don't just set up a record-breaking attempt. Again, you reach out to them, you tell them what record you're attempting to break, you ask them the details of how they want to confirm it, you give them time and date. As I said, either online they can monitor, sometimes they send people, sometimes they have local affiliates they work with, but you do not even send in application.
Sure.
Anyway, as we told you guys earlier, the Ghanaian police have arrested him. So it's not necessarily arrested because of Guinness World Records asking for him to be arrested. He was arrested because he got into a dispute with one of his primary sponsors, and that's where the location in which he held the cooking competition. They accused him of breaching a contractual agreement by not informing them about the new developments regarding the alleged confirmation of the award. Now, Ghanaians are shocked and disappointed.
Angry.
No,
and they have every right to be.
They have every right. Even me.
Right.
This is the most stupid fraud anyone
She's wondering how.
Like, cooking is something everybody is attempting to do. So that means the radar is on you. And you publicly did this?
And we were laughing at Chef Dami. At least she was even showing that she was working and she was dancing. It's just that she didn't go through I mean, this is embarrassing.
At least one of our Nigerians attempted a singer thing and it didn't work. What's his name? Isaac Gerald.
And it was a health thing.
It was a health thing.
That he had to step back from. I think he was doing it in New York or somewhere in the US. He had to step back.
What is it?
We've had different, even Massageathon that she collapsed or something. Yeah, we've had. So
it's not beans. Let me just add this. So right now, the current champ for this cookathon record is from Ireland and holds the record for 119 hours, 57 minutes. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
You do and most times when people are setting records, they want to not only break the existing record, but they want to add extra margin to it that makes it a bit more difficult for the next person. So he broke, and that individual is Alan Fisher, 119 hours, 57 minutes, 16 seconds from the 28th of September to the 3rd of October last year. And he broke Hilda Bassi's record of 93 hours, 11 minutes. I remember she did a little bit extra to break, I think it was in an Indian chef or something like that. But you want to go from 119 to 802. Well, and if in any way he even managed to do 200 hours, he has completely scrapped the potential for him to even get the award. Let's even say he didn't do all 809 hours and he did 200, and that surpassed Alan Fisher. Right now, your credibility is shot.
Of course.
Nothing can go back.
And now he has made it, they've taken the category down.
Even if he did it, right, and he was successful and all that, and he didn't do the whole 800, he still wouldn't have gotten it because he did not reach out to Guinness at the start.
Absolutely.
Can you build legality on illegality?
No, you can't.
I applaud the audacity, though. I'm not even...
But Ghanaians...
Charlie,
we respect your fraudulent behavior.
It's
not the whole of Ghana, though. It's just
it's not the whole of Ghana, though.
Yeah,
but it's your chef.
Really, watch him, because, man,
for that,
this guy,
I shall not
he's been talking about the fact that he doesn't deserve to leave. He's done so much. He doesn't deserve life. I beg.
It's
so
not that
put an eye on him.
In a couple of more weeks, it
feels like he's trying to now throw a pity party after his cooking party.
No. Honestly, you need to see the interviews. This guy
is in a bad light.
It's actually scary.
This is going to smear them.
It's scary. What I mean.
Liar.
He's still in liar, pants on fire. The kitchen is now on fire. God, but he's still in police custody and he has not been charged yet. But if we have an update on this,
do you know they can charge him more because if he had sponsors for an alleged
fraud,
that's fraud.
He had a lot of
sponsors.
That's fraud.
Ladies, a lot of sponsors.
This was a hot topic because it took us to the kitchen. So you can imagine what we have in store for you because now it's time for hot topics. Stop it.
I like it.
Now the action is still on our social media timeline. We are at News Central TV. Our next story is really a hot topic. A man has asked his wife to allow him to take a DNA test for their 2 kids. Her response, if you want to, Oga, go ahead, but just know that the marriage is over. So now he's in a bind. They've been married for 3 to 4 years, and he admits everything has been going well. But he just had this urge to do a DNA test on his kids because he believes that if he's taking responsibility for a child, he has every right to demand for a DNA test. Now, let's see the conundrum he has gotten himself into. And I think, I'm saying he has gotten himself into that conundrum. So this has gone to couples therapy. And he talked about the fact that everything has been going well. They do everything equally, including house chores, the bills, even planning, everything. Maybe not 50-50, but there's assistance. So he's had this urge to want to do a DNA test for his kids because he believes if he's taking responsibility, then he should know and be sure that the kids he's taking responsibility for are his own children. So what happened? He now said that he's told his wife that he wants a DNA test. And the wife said, "You don't trust me. You think I'll do such a thing to you and all you know." To be honest, I've never suspected her on anything or seen her do anything related to cheating, but I just want to know where I stand fully. She then said, if I do a DNA test, I'll see that the kids are mine. I should know that the marriage is over. I don't want to do it behind her back because I've never done anything behind her before. So guys, do you think I should proceed and do it and lose the marriage or stay in it and believe they're mine? I really believe that it's better to do it and lose the marriage and know where I stand, or go to bed every night and be thinking about the fact that the kids could not be mine. So a friend of his actually gave him advice on what to do, and the friend said that he should not do it. But he wants advice. So the friend said, if you want to, go ahead. Just know that you should branch at the court and bring divorce papers home, that the marriage will never be the same. Me, I just tire. This DNA thing.
First of all, social media, television is not for everybody because people get pretty influenced really quickly. I was waiting for the part where he would say that she's been doing something suspicious and he just doesn't trust her. But he said that he's never had a reason to trust her.
To distrust her.
To distrust her. He's never not had a reason to trust her. So why exactly do you want to have it? Is it that you just want to be part of the population of paternity fraud, or what exactly? I won't lie, if I've never given you reason to trust me and you want to go ahead and do a DNA test because you've been seeing paternity fraud all around, I would say the same thing she said. But if she has given him reasons, then I believe
that's a different conversation.
That's a different conversation.
Honestly.
So, I don't know.
You see, everybody just wants to be spoken about. Everybody wants to be talked about. This is something that is not broken and you want to break it. It's a different thing if he does have trust issues.
Yeah.
Like, there's just something about you that I just cannot put a do you know why I even think the lady should run? He has even said, I don't mind leaving the marriage. So that means, top of mind, the marriage is not as important to him as we all think.
As the paternity
of his kids. So if the marriage is really important to him, he said he does not even mind losing his marriage. So I would doubt his love for his wife, me as a person. So even if he goes ahead and finds out there is children, what would the circling back be like?
The friend told him that marriage will never be the same.
Never.
You guys may continue to live together if she says she's not doing divorce, but you've broken something fundamental that can never be fixed. So I might be a little bit controversial here, but I think that if you get to a point where you suspect you need to check your children's DNA, can you do it secretly? So he talks about the fact that he's never done anything behind her back, but you've never done anything that is so, you've never made a request that is so monumental and probably dangerous to the foundation of your marriage. Why not a DNA
it's easy. Just
swap inside their mouth.
Take the
give
cup
them candy and say, don't tell mommy.
So I was going to say that,
go and do it quietly.
This is an entire case because something so it would be more understandable if maybe his friends had a DNA test done and then they find out.
And maybe it was in that circle and it's making anxiety.
And even at that, you can maybe at that instance have the conversation with her that, okay, this is this and that. Even though she may not let you, that's why, again, we'll resort to doing it behind her back. But this is a different conversation. You have said that things have gone smoothly. You've shared everything. She's never given you reason to doubt. So what? And then you're hell-bent on losing the marriage just to be... It's okay because to be honest, men are scared now, of living for 80 years and finding out that they have nobody to pass on. But the thing is,
everybody cannot generalize. We're talking about individuals here. We're not talking about a group of people. You live with this woman, and let me tell you, this man's mental health, there's something wrong with him. Because mentally, he's suffering a psychosis.
I think he's actually, I think he's internalized all this paternity fraud conversations on social media.
That's why I said social media is not for everybody.
To look at, in Africa, we attribute everything to juju. There is something wrong with him mentally. Maybe the things he has taken in has broken something or let loose something in his mentality. It's today DNA. How about if he wakes up tomorrow and he says he just doesn't think?
She's his wife.
And that thing overwhelms you to a point that he takes a knife and cuts her neck and says, oh, I thought you were a pig on the bed. No, because people go through all sorts of things that they can't really say.
I think
so
that,
do you know what it means to have illusions? It's a psychosis.
Yeah.
You are hallucinating. You might see those children and they can pass and you will feel as if they look like someone else.
Do you know something I want to
They should be checking his mental health.
Let me throw another thing into this. Do you know sometimes that some men ask for DNA from their wives if sometimes a mistress or a side chick outside has had a baby?
Oh.
That's another angle.
The wife can come back now and say, where is this coming from? He's opening the door in his marriage for so much. You're saying you literally are saying you don't trust her by asking for this DNA test. That's what she's told you. She can come back and say, I don't trust you too now, because this request for a DNA test might be coming from maybe you having a child out. Is it worth it?
I'm not even going to lie. I feel like when a DNA is involved in a conversation, either way, the marriage is over.
Of course, trust is
Because
broken.
you tell your wife you want to get a DNA test done, she doesn't trust you no more. You don't tell her, you get it done, you find out they're not your children, you don't trust her anymore. So either way, the marriage... So I think that...
Wait, you didn't add the third one. You do a DNA test, you find out that they're your children, you're happy, there's a bit of a difference in what you're doing, but somehow, some way, a lot of people will always spill eventually that, at one point in time, I wasn't sure these kids are mine, I did the DNA test.
Even if you come openly and say, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I got it. From that moment, I'm looking at you like, who is this man?
Like, it takes so much. I feel for him in a way because having to question the paternity of your children is also something very heavy.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal to question the paternity.
Just take the cup and go and do it.
He should have just done this thing quietly.
I'm telling you.
And have peace of mind.
So
or have enough evidence to come and cry and break his marriage. Really.
Look, I'm going to be honest, right? Anybody that gets a DNA test done quietly, just let it go with you to the grave.
Let it die with you.
Because something is going to die. Either you or the marriage, right? So just let it... But my own issue is even the circumstances, the context of this particular story now. If you distrusted her, is a different call. But the fact that you don't let social media...
But Olu, do you know this DNA thing that people talk? Do you know there are many exceptional circumstances?
Yeah.
How about baby swap in the hospital?
Yeah. And that happens in Nigeria more than people know.
It has happened. That babies were swapped and...
There's a story that I was watching out of South America. 2 sets of twins born a few days apart. One born in the rural area, one born in the city. One of the ones in the rural area was sick. They brought him to town. Then they had to bring the other one too. That's how the 2 sets of twins were switched. They were raised separately as fraternal twins across in the same city for like 20-something years. And so one was in university, and a friend of theirs went to a butcher shop and said,
"Yeah, that's right. I read the story."
And you're like, "You're in a butcher shop, and I'm talking to you, and you're acting like you don't know me." 2 separate sets of twins. And also in that, their circumstances, socioeconomic circumstances, were also different.
Yeah, of course. One is schooled, one is a butcher.
There's a story in South Africa as well, the woman who stole a child. I remember when I had my daughter, the moment in front of you like this, they clamped the ankle bracelet. This ankle bracelet, as anybody is moving towards elevator or window, the whole floor, the whole floor shuts down. Yeah. Because in the US it was happening. It happens here. And unfortunately, when the DNA test comes, even the wife or the mother doesn't know where it's coming from. So a lot of times we don't always do that DNA on the mother as well to be sure that the child is also hers. It's not as often as pure paternity fraud, but it is also one of those exceptional situations she's talking about.
Exceptional situations.
But wait, I have to ask, ladies, we're saying the man is throwing the marriage away by demanding this DNA test. Is the wife throwing the marriage away by saying, I'll divorce you? Because some people will say if she has nothing to hide, why is she threatening a divorce?
Are you kidding me?
The fact that he even doubts her.
It's the trust that is broken.
Yes, the fact that he doubts her.
For better or for worse, so the worst part is the
I know
trust.
Another exception. I've heard of the story of a man that would drug his wife and ask one of his friends to sleep with her, and that's how they had their 3 children.
Because he knew
he knew he had fertility issues. That is how they had their 3 children.
And then he would ask for a paternity test.
No, how about if the woman they said the woman kept looking at her children. Now, how come the similarities between the family of the man she's married to and hers, they don't
It wasn't meshing.
It wasn't meshing. That is what prompted DNA.
And then she found out the kids are not his and they're not even hers.
No, the kids are
they're hers, sorry.
But they were not his.
Oh,
and she didn't know how that came about.
And he didn't say anything?
Of course not. Every certain time, our ovulation period, they just drug her, she sleeps, wakes up. Of course, you could have made out with your husband and you didn't really, were not conscious. What are you saying? There are many evil things happening in this time that we're in, no.
And I think also we need to look at our society, this pressure to have children. It's the same conversation that we started with Burna Boy earlier on. And there have been situations where men know that they are not able, they're impotent or they have sperm issues or whatnot. They still get married without telling.
I know a friend of mine.
Because
The family comes down on the woman.
ego.
And then sometimes, unfortunately, I don't agree with it. These women will go out to just get pregnant so people can just
say they have baby. I know a friend of mine. In fact, her husband made her do painful tests. You know all those?
Did he do any? Yes.
Everything she did.
HGC.
Until one auspicious day, she was cleaning the house and she saw an old test. 0 sperm count. About 15 years ago test. And they've been married at this time for like 12.
And do you know the funny thing?
And he knew.
The funny thing is...
The crying, the surgery, the syringes, the injections.
They will even be crying and
drugs
fighting
to
together.
Ghana for all this drinking all sorts of things. No.
I've also heard stories where the man knew he couldn't have children. He got married to the wife, and then the wife, of course, went out and then came back with and lied that she's pregnant for him, and he outed her like she's cheating on me, like because I know I can't have children, and nobody is saying that he was the first fraud to get married.
He was the first fraud.
Because
God,
you got
honestly.
married to her, so now you're proud about it. Oh, I can't have children. Where did you get yours from?
Yours from. There are so many gray areas.
I'm telling you, around this
So
paternity,
many.
the fraud, the
We
DNA
better all
conversation.
all of us should just we should just hold back a little and allow decorum sometimes to rule in homes, because a lot of people would have lynched and literally killed someone for something they have no hand in. Things they occur.
Yeah.
Things they occur. I know a sailor that they said the megad that he left in the house is who impregnated his wife twice.
Is the guy he left in the house is what?
With their megad. So he is a sailor. So he's gone for months
at a
on
time.
end. So the megad targets his wife and impregnates her with drugs.
It's okay.
Oh my God.
It's okay, Lolo.
Let's go.
Lolo, let's go.
That's all we can catch up on today. Join us again tomorrow by 10 a.m. to see us bring you more trending, thought-provoking, and hot conversations from me and the ladies. Bye.